Hi, this is Jackie.
This is Jason.
And this is Homebodies Only, where we welcome all bodies to join us as we break down and dissect HBO Max series. This episode, we are talking about The White Lotus, Season 3, Episode 6, Denials. The summary from ToonFind.com. In the wake of the full moon festivities, Laurie finds herself feeling deceived by Jacqueline, while a hungover Saxon tries to bury what happened the night before. Later, Belinda's son arrives at an inopportune moment. Chloe faces questions from her boyfriend, and Rick continues his ruse with Sitala. We got some alternative titles.
Yeah, we do. A lot happened this episode. A lot
Yes.
happened. This was a really good episode. I'm gonna foreshadow. I don't have a lot of hates for it. I have a lot of things that I like. But first, we have what's become a running bit on the show: alternative titles, some of which I borrowed, but are appropriate. So the first one I've got is "Send Lawyers, Guns, and Money," "Awkward,"
Oh, yeah.
"Brotherly Love," "About Last Night," and "Don't Ask, Don't Tell."
There you go. You want to know mine?
You had one as well.
Saxon finally got his happy ending. Sorry. Sorry.
Oh man, this was the first episode that I think I might have had like a shade of sympathy
For Saxon.
for Saxon.
Mm-hmm.
World-class D-bag. I have a lot of loves. You have some loves this week?
I do have some loves. I did love, well, this is more like a laugh, like Zion seeing his mom with porn. Belinda quoting from Scarface, which I need to watch again because I haven't watched that in so long. When Chelsea tells Saxon he's soulless. Laurie confronting Jacqueline. I was so happy. Yes. When Gatok found the gun, I was also very happy and relieved. And Chelsea saying there's not a drug in the world that would make me get with my brother. Then she's like, I'm not judging. Hornchai thinking about a future with Belinda. That was cute. And I want to say that I knew Harrison was going to call, of course, the husband. I don't know if that's a love, but
But it feels good to be right. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like when you're like that. I bet that happens and it pays off. You
Yeah.
actually said a lot of the same things I was going
Oh.
to say. I like the way the episode started with that brilliant, like sort of fantasy sequence. When I first saw it, I was kind of like, no, this can't be real because, oh my God, that would be pretty heavy for this show. Again, we talked about how gorgeous Thailand looks. I think Chelsea said something about you're a Libra rising. Like,
you're a quality person. Yes. I'm a Capricorn rising, for those of you who don't know. I mean, well, who know what that means.
yeah. I also
FYI.
have no idea what that means.
Means I'm a hard worker.
I loved Chloe saying she had to bribe the deckhands.
Yes.
She's like, I gotta go bribe the deckhands so they don't rat me out. Chelsea being like sort of like a Cassandra and saying, wait, don't do this. Bad things come in threes. Again, only one who knows what show she's in. Really. I love Belinda's quoting Scarface. That was hilarious. And then Chloe calling Saxon soulless about time. I don't like what Jason Isaac's character is doing, but I really like what he's doing in the part. Like, I think he's fantastic. He's been great in everything I've ever seen him in, but this is a really unusual performance for him, and it's really good. I love Gatok's little stealth mission. I feel like Gatok and Mook, I feel like everybody's sort of in their own little movie. And
Yeah.
he's in a madcap romantic comedy with Mook, where he's trying to like win her over, and then his gun gets stolen, and he's got to
it's
sneak
like,
in to
oh.
get the gun. I would love to see like a zany version of the Rat Lifts, where it's like National Lampoon's Vacation in Thailand, where this group just gets into their wacky adventures kind of thing. Because it could all be sitcom,
Yep.
like. The daughter says they're going there so she can write a thesis, but no, she really wants to live with the monks, and the mother's freaked out. Like in a different show,
Yeah.
that is, the Brady Bunch in Hawaii. You know, like that
Yep.
is it's a very
Yeah.
different type of feel. Tonally, it
Just
could be,
change
you know,
change the music and add a laugh track. I mean, I feel like
yeah, I mean,
right?
but yeah, like also the way it's shot, because there's
Mm,
the murdery death part of it. You
yeah.
do have this everybody's a suspect kind of thing, and there's a lot of there's a lot of, you know, the mystery and everything going on. In a different movie, this is like a wacky rom-com about a crazy family that goes to Thailand. Oh, the other thing, the other this this one line told me everything. It told us everything we need to know about Victoria. She needs to fear poverty like everyone else we
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
Boom. Like
Yeah.
it when somebody can capture a character in one sentence, that's
Yeah.
beautiful, eloquent, elegant
Hmm.
writing.
Yeah.
And damn, does it work. And it's like that's a character speaking her truth in an intimate moment with her husband, but it tells you everything you need to know about her, and it's brilliant.
I forgot a love. I don't forgot to write it down. The when the guru, what he says about life and chasing, because you're not happy. But that was great.
Yeah, chasing pleasure only to find the pain is still there because you can't outrun pain. It, you know, very Buddhist, very Zen kind of thing. He was lovely too. That I don't know who that
Oh
actor is,
yeah.
but he was terrific. Like it just seems like they didn't so much cast that guy; they just found him at that temple. You know, they
Right?
like found her like a real guy.
Yeah.
But he seems like, and you could see why somebody like Piper would want to go there, you know,
Hmm.
like because she's been living in this material world, you know, to quote Madonna, but like for a long time,
Yeah.
and wanting to take a break and find out who the hell she is.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
think that's what all these characters are kind of doing in a way. Rick's there, you know, he's trying to find himself and resolve his like inner conflict, and you know, she's trying to find herself as a young woman. Lockie is doing the same thing, you know. I don't know. I think the only one with like a decent head on her shoulders is Chelsea. Like that's why she's my favorite character. She doesn't seem like she's the only one who seems to know like herself and you know what's up, and she understands people. Albeit there's some wacky Zodiac stuff in there, but who cares? I like the way she's able to sort of like distill things down
Hmm.
and go, oh,
Hmm.
this is what's happening. You know, the fact that she doesn't end up, you know, hooking up with one of the brothers, and you know, she's like, no, I don't want to do that. I have a fulfilling experience. Why do I need this empty thing over here? Yeah, so you know, and she, you know, she doesn't strike me. She's not Einstein or anything, but she has a very like keen self-awareness
Yes.
that I like.
Yes. She's not chasing the pleasure to hide the pain, really. She's a little bit more of like a voice of reason, actually. Like she's more grounded. She's not searching for herself. She knows herself. Saxon didn't know he was searching for himself. Now he's going to be searching for himself, I think.
This is the first episode where he wasn't awful.
Right.
He went through an experience that he doesn't understand, and he's trying to figure out, you know, first he's trying to, you know, solve the mystery of what happened,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because drugs. But then, you know, he's trying to figure out what this means to him and what,
Yeah.
you know, like
His
that's
family.
pretty, like, that is not on your life's bingo card.
No,
You know,
no.
nobody thinks,
Mm-mm.
but what if I get really high in Thailand and my brother kisses me? Like, what? You know,
No. Yeah.
that is not on the menu, kids. It's just not. So, you know, and for him who's like so superficial and shallow and, you know, just materialistic and stuff, for him, one of the things I thought was interesting about the episode was the contradiction of
Mm-hmm.
having these materialistic people in an unmaterialistic world. You know, like when the family goes to the Buddhist monastery or whatever, like
Yeah.
I could not think of anybody more out of place in a place, you know, and but they're all so desperate, except for
Mm-hmm.
Victoria, who's just like, I don't want to be poor.
Yeah.
I don't think I can be poor, you know,
No.
like,
She want to live.
I thought there was a lot of interesting themes and stuff going on, and we saw a lot deeper into the characters in this episode, and that's the stuff that's the good stuff. That's where like where the good drama comes from, the character reveals and things like that. And that's what makes it interesting, in my opinion.
Okay. Hate. Uh, I just said Lockie is gross. Sorry. Just sorry. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just don't know where that comes from. Greg Garrett, like I hate Greg Gary. Chloe with him, I hate. I hate them both right now. Fabian telling Belinda to like come to see him sing. Oh, and I forgot to say when she goes, break a leg, break two legs. It's like, yes. I hate Mook, actually. I really don't like her character. I rewatched part of the first episode, and all she cares about is gay talk. Like he doesn't really have he's not tough, and I'm like, I don't like her. Like I think I forgot that she was kind of jerky to him in the beginning, and I thought she was so cute when you'd see her with the guests and stuff. And I'm like, no, I don't like her. Like she got very into it because he talked about the gun, and she's I don't like her. So I decided Jacqueline making Kate feel bad about telling Lori about Valentine. I said, F that, be real. I'm so tired of the BS lying. I was so happy all that Lori just like threw it out there. Ugh, I can't stand that tiptoeing around. I am not that person.
Well, you know what? We are also East Coast people, and East Coast people, especially New Yorkers, tend to be a bit more direct anyway. And I think that's the sort of difference between like New York and LA people. I went out to LA a few years ago, to do some business stuff out there, and I was staying with a buddy of mine. And the first thing he said to me is like, "You can't be a pushy New Yorker out here. It's like you just can't be that way." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Jason, like you just can't you can't push people like here, like because
Yeah.
and it's just not
Yes.
the way they are."
Mm-hmm.
And I do feel like, the episode's called Denial, which despite our funny alternative titles, that is incredibly appropriate because a lot of these people are in denial. But yeah,
Yeah.
that whole thing, I like that she got, Lori called her out on that and was just
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, just stop. We have to stop doing this,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can also appreciate Jacqueline, her, because I think she probably feels like an alien to these friends that she's had because
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't live in their world. Like
No.
she lives in a whole different type of existence. Actually, all three of them live in very different worlds. Like
Yes.
New York lawyer, Texas, wife, and
Mm-hmm.
movie star. Like it's very, very. They all have things in common, but they're all very different. And
Mm-hmm.
that I think has gotten to like I knew this was going to happen. Like I
Yeah.
knew there was going to be
Oh
some
yeah.
sort
You
of,
said it.
you
Yeah.
know, I was like,
Yep.
these once two started gossiping when the third was missing, I was like, yeah, there's definitely gonna
Oh yeah.
this is gonna come to something. But it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Like
Right.
it didn't go overblown melodrama,
Right.
which was I think what I'm noticing is a bit of like restraint in the
Yeah.
script, because it's
Mm.
not over the top. It's not like people aren't screaming at each other and um,
Right.
but
Like a
like
Real Housewives.
yeah, exactly, because that's what this could be. Like that's
Yeah.
the three girls trip. They could be a Real Housewives. And then the family could be a zany misadventure in Thailand, a la National Lampoon's Vacation. Rick is just like on this revenge trip. Like he's doing it. He's like doing a John Wick. Like he's trying to, so. But it is interesting how and like really the only thing these people have in common is they're staying all in the same place. But yeah, I think with Lockie too, like, I think he's a teenager and he's going through some stuff and he's just trying to find something to latch on to. And he's
Shouldn't have been his brother's. Sorry.
well, I got nothing for that in terms of, but I do see a kid who's
No, I
like,
can relate. Just
no.
kidding.
Um, but why?
But
But like, but like, I feel
well,
like,
Saxon's not the alpha anymore. We know that. So
well,
there you
I,
go.
I do feel like with him and like that character, Lockie is an interesting character because he's trying to find something to hold on to, So like, when things don't work out with, like he has the sexual misadventure and drugs, and then he tries to help his sister out,
Yeah.
and trying to like latch on to her, and
Yeah.
be part of her thing, but he doesn't know, and he's probably, questioning whatever his sexuality is, and like, being a teenager sucks.
Yeah.
I don't,
It does.
especially now, I don't have no idea,
Oh my gosh.
but it does make for it does make for some interesting television. All right, so what we got up next?
I can relate. Do you
I
have any I can
I
relates?
didn't, I felt like I feel like I can relate to I feel like I can relate to these characters as much as anybody else who's trying to find themselves, and having
Hmm.
had been a young person at some point, trying to find myself and screwing up
Hmm.
amazingly, and trying
Right.
to figure out, like,
Hmm.
the sense of self, what you're supposed to be doing, because not everybody gets a solid path in life. Chloe, she's found herself, and she's in this sort of business deal of a relationship, which is gross, but very realistic. It happens. Because look at all those other guys on that boat with the young wives and stuff. She knows who she is. She knows where she is. She's completely content with it. It's awful, but that's she's like, this is a good situation, not he's a good
Yeah.
man, not I love him.
No,
This
it's a
is a
good
good
situation.
situation.
Yep.
Tells you again, single
Hmm.
line tells you everything you need to know about the
Yep.
character. Yeah. So did you have any I could relates?
When Saxon is using the bug spray and like going crazy. I mean, that is me. I'm like, why didn't this happen earlier? I have a pool, you know, we got mosquitoes and everything, and I am like a bug spray crazy person. I have the natural peppermint oil. I have the DEET will kill me probably. So I could totally relate to that. And then also, I have been to a shooting range, so twice, but it didn't look like that. It was outside. But yes, I have been to a shooting range. But I was not a good shot like Gatok.
That was
I
what I was
was
going to say. That
inconsistent.
was surprising that Gaytok was a pretty
But
good
that was
marksman.
that was hot.
You
Like
know,
that was cool.
that
Like
finally,
finally, this little me. Like, come
yeah,
on, dude.
finally he's competent at something.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to fat? Did you have a lot for fashion? I thought everybody looked. I don't have like specific things, but I thought everyone looked fantastic in this episode. Everybody looks so good.
Yes, I have a fashion frustration because I couldn't find something. I have, and I have some fashion fun facts. I think that's yeah, and just some information. So I don't even know where to start. Okay, let's start with Chloe because we see her in the beginning. She was wearing the same bikini top that she was wearing in the last one, and I was like, I don't think anything that great about it. It was like this aqua sea green color. It looked like a sports bra almost. So I found on TikTok somehow through all my rabbit holing, if that makes sense, uh, this TikToker called at great underscore Dayn Dayn, and she like knows the brands and like shouts them out. Like she's like, I love watching shows. She worked in fashion and stuff, and she'll know brands and shout them out. So let me tell you something about that bikini top. That bikini is made by a company which I've never heard of called Hunza, Hunza. I did find a similar if people really like it on Amazon, and I will post that. But that company made the same dress that we see Julia Roberts in the first scene of Pretty Woman. And it's the same material. And I knew there was something about that material for real that I was like, something's familiar about that material. It looks like it's kind of scrunchy. And that was her dress. I believe it was the white top. And then it was connected at her like sternum to a skirt, a blue skirt. And is that a little throw to, she was a prostitute? Chloe thinks she's a prostitute. So I thought that was a really cool kind of, I mean, I couldn't believe this woman like whipped that information out. So I can't take the credit for that. Um, I loved Sitala, I'm saying it wrong now. Sitala's dress slash robe when she meets up with Rick at that restaurant. It was gorgeous. I was looking it up all over the place. It looked like it was made of jacquard. I couldn't find it. I think I found a little bit of a similar one. Also in the first scene, Chloe, this is my fashion frustration. Chloe is wearing, it looks like a cover up or a wrap. It's like black. It's not that exciting, but I got very stuck on it. It's black, I believe. When you zoom in on it, it has these little symbols on it. And I was like, what are those symbols from? What's that brand? I text my sister-in-law who knows a lot of brands. She lives in Florida, and sent her it. And she said, it looks like Louis Vuitton, but maybe like a knockoff. And I was like, there's no way it's a knockoff on the White Lotus. I looked everywhere for this thing. I mean, I also even messaged Alex Overd, the wardrobe, the costume designer, wardrobe designer, because she had written me back when I mentioned her in my story the other day. So I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I know she saw my message, but she did not reply. I cannot find this thing. So if I find it before we, when we upload the episode, I'll put a link if we happen to find it. That would be cool. That was my fashion frustration. I wanted to point out that Jacqueline's phone case, I believe, when she was talking to her husband, has like a leopard print on it, reminded me of her bathing suit. I didn't look into the phone case. But speaking of phone cases, now there's a pop socket line of the White Lotus. So it's the White Lotus pop sockets. I think I sent you the picture of it. I was like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding. They're pretty cool, like phone covers and these. I don't have one of those things on my phone, by the way, but I just like, they're making products all over the place off of the White Lotus. Kind of funny. Let's see. This show is causing me possibly to go into a shopaholic thing. I'm trying not to buy the things. I did buy the look-alike cheetah print or leopard print, whatever it is, bathing suit from last episode. We'll see how it goes. I do need a one piece, so we'll see. Anyway, I loved Zion's shirt, which was when he first got there. And I did find that on Shop Your TV. There was a similar one, which was great. Because of course his was super expensive, I'm sure. But his was from Zara, which is no longer available. A very similar one on Amazon is $32.99. So that's pretty cool. Oh, I loved Victoria's caftan. When she goes to the monastery, I thought it was gorgeous. I think that was sold out. I almost bought it. Oh my God. I found a similar, I was like, no, I'm trying to hold myself back. I found a similar one on Amazon, and then I found the same one on eBay. So on Amazon, it was $39. On eBay, it was $28. And I almost bought it on eBay, but I did not.
At what age do women consider caftans? When does that happen?
I think caftans have a bad rap, right? That they're for like older ladies and like, but they're making I think a I don't know exactly what age. I bet all ages would wear them. They're so pretty. I think that Victoria Ratliff had a belt around hers, so made it a little more of a shape to it as opposed to just big, billowy. I actually did love Jacqueline's cover up. It was pink with some pattern in it. It's $350. It was sold out. But of course, there was a similar that I found that I can link. I think that is it. I feel like I had so many things.
No, there was a lot more in this episode because it wasn't just a carryover. Like there was a new day and new places and all that kind of stuff. So it was a lot more new costumes going on.
By the way, the pink cover up, Jacqueline's pink cover is, sounds really funny, Poupette. St. Barth is the brand, and it's no longer available. But again, I did find one on Amazon that was very similar.
I saw a movie not too long ago. I went to a screening for critics. But one of the things I noticed about the movie was everyone looked like they just got done with a shoot from Vanity Fair. Like everybody just looked so perfect. And it was a movie was set in the 1950s. It was not like, it's probably not what people look like in the 1950s,
right.
But it looked like the fashion shoot equivalent of a 50s theme fashion shoot. And everybody in the movie was just gorgeous. It was just like, to the point where you're like, my God, it took you out of the movie, You're just like, these people are too pretty. Like, what's going on?
Right. Right.
And I do get a little bit of that with White Lotus as well, to the point where you're like, I wonder what real humans at this place would look like. And they probably look like the place where Jacqueline went with like the older people. That's probably
Yes.
that's what probably what Thailand looks
Yes.
like.
Yes.
It doesn't you don't even see the White Lotus people. They're like on their own private yachts and resorts and stuff.
Right.
Like,
Right.
oh, this is not a fashion thing, but just a look
Hmm.
thing. Gary Gregg's house.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
That looked good.
nobody ethical had bought that house. There's no way. There's no way a non-criminal owns that
This is why
place.
Chloe does what she does.
I mean, it looked like at the end of the movie where they face down the big drug cartel and they go to the hacienda at the
Yeah.
end, like that. That's what that reminded me of.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, the pool and everything. We
Mhm.
have haven't even seen all of it yet.
No, I hope we do.
I get apartment envy when I watch stuff. Like we see, whenever you see a New York apartment on television, you're like, yeah, that's like $3 million a month. Nobody
Hmm.
lives there.
Nobody lives there.
But
No.
like this was just ridiculous. That place was insane. That was fashion, right? So what do we? I
We
don't
have
really have. I don't have much for like the who's the shooter or
who's the shooter?
conspiracy
I'm like, I
theory.
have no idea now. Now I'm like, I have no idea.
We
I
do
have
know
just
what I'm trying to do is follow the firearms. So
right.
so Rick has a firearm in Bangkok. We know that's not. We don't know if
Yes.
that will be a separate crime
Right.
in Bangkok. Gaytok finally got his gun back. Thank God. Because
Yeah.
we see the unraveling of Tim and his like whole fantasy
Hmm.
about
Hmm.
and which is crazy because we were talking about that. Like, is this guy one of those like family annihilator guys?
Right.
And it looks like he could be given the
Thought
right
about it.
circumstance. And apparently none of his family can live unless they're incredibly rich. We didn't see the Russian mafia guys this episode, but there was a gun there as well um, for the jewelry robbery that was never fired. So, it's like where I don't know. I don't know where this is going to come from. I feel like the closer we get to the shooting, the further we are away from. We don't even know who's going to get shot yet.
No.
I think we're very very clueless at this point. Do you think this show is good despite the murder? Like, would this be a good show without the violence and the murder mystery hook of it?
That's a good question. I think so because there have been moments where I forgot about the shooter, especially I think in this episode, because there was just so much other stuff and then I was like, oh wait, I forgot there's a shooter. There is a shooting. Yeah, I think so.
That's compelling because a really good film. If you ever see there's films that will show you like a murder in Act One, and then but the rest of the movie is so compelling that you forget about it. Then when it comes back at the end, you're like, oh my, yeah, yeah, you're still shocked. And I think this show is very well crafted that way.
That reminds me of the book where the crawdads sing. I know they made a movie out of it, but I read the book and the book was amazing. And there is a murder right in the beginning. There's a murder, and then you read into the book and it goes into the past. And I'm like, oh my God, I totally forgot that there was a murder. So yeah.
I think they're doing a really good job with these characters and making them very compelling. I mean, there's always a question of like, who do you want to die? Like, is there anybody that you're like, yeah, that guy should go, you know?
Greg,
Mm.
he's the one I definitely would want him to die. Oh, sorry. Stand him. Okay. Well, okay. For me, I have predictions. Okay, Lockie, like I don't know what's going to happen, but Lockie sitting there meditating, realizing what he did. What's that going to cause him to do? I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I would hope therapy.
Hmm.
It would cause.
Maybe
It
he
would,
should stay at the monastery for a year also.
yeah, maybe he could stay with his sister. I mean,
Not
but
well. Yeah.
you know, you know what? I'm not even going to say. But there's probably a number of behavioral theories one could mount about that character. But Yeah, so but he definitely needs to talk to somebody. Maybe we should hook him up with Amarita for an afternoon. You
Yes.
know,
Forget the posture thing. He needs,
right? Yes.
like, is he going to lose his shit? Like, is he going to lose his shit? I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Um, so I did a little bit of reviewing of season one, and back in season one, there was Kai, a local who works at the White Lotus. This is in Hawaii. He gets involved with one of the guests, and he says how the land that the White Lotus is built on was taken from his ancestors, and he's very bitter about it. And I just keep going back to the land thing. And in Sicily, I was asking my husband, I'm like, I think that was not like on some sacred land, the White Lotus, but I bet in Thailand that they took it from the locals or the natives. And there, I just keep coming back to this Greg Gary working for the Bureau of Land Management and Jim, the Sitala's husband, owning the hotel. There is something, I swear, some kind of connection with the land. Also, I wanted to say because I think I said to you, I'm like, you should watch the intro and look at the painting and everything. In that painting, if you watch it, the land and nature are killing the people at the end of the introduction. They're showing like the fish coming out of the water, swallowing the humans. So what is that? Is what's going on? Like there's something with the land.
Because I'm such an avid movie and television watcher, I always get very suspect of whenever they show me something or foreshadow something.
Right.
I always think it could be like a misdirect or something. So,
Yep.
which is great because you shouldn't like, we just watched episode 6. We should not know what episode 8 is going to be by
Right.
now,
No.
and it does keep surprising me. And maybe it's because I'm paranoid and I think, bad things are going to happen. And when they don't, I feel relieved. But like, that's kind of what, we were talking back in like episode 5 or whatever, like when people were like going off and doing these dumb things.
That was 4,
4,
right?
yeah.
Oh no.
4 was,
Yeah, that was the one
when
you
they went
weren't,
off on
you
the
didn't
boat.
love that one. You didn't love that one.
Well,
You were
I
like,
just,
no,
I didn't, I thought these people
too
are being
obvious.
kind of dumb. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm glad that, things happened, but it wasn't, I guess it's also a tone thing. Like the tone I was thinking was like if everybody's in a horror movie together,
Right.
but this is a dark comedy. So it's a little bit, it's not that
Yes.
dark, like,
Right.
but definitely a lot of, especially in this one, there was
Mm-hmm.
like, despite the comedy of it, there's a lot of darkness in this episode
Mm-hmm.
and it's really well done. And
Yeah.
I got to say, everybody is hitting out of the park. Like
Yeah.
all of these actors, fantastic. I'm glad you got me into this mess.
Oh,
I'm
you're
really,
welcome.
this is fun. All right.
Oh, I'm all sucked in. The White Lotus fan page on Facebook. It's so much. It actually is really fun because people are really into it and they're like, I wonder about this and I wonder about that. And it's good. It's good. It's fun.
I wonder where this ranks in terms of fandom because remember we talked about Game of Thrones and that was like crazy. That had like a huge viewership. I don't know if it's doing those numbers, but it definitely has a fan base to it, and a loyal fan base, and that's why I think HBO is investing in it. So, yeah, I mean, do we? I'm trying to think. Do we have anything else for today? Do we have anything else that we want to talk about?
I think that's all I have. Oh, the puffer fish. There was a shot of the puffer fish laying, on the beach, and someone put up a picture on the fan page of Saxon's face next to the pufferfish and saying that's how he feels. So I thought that was really good. Yeah.
A fish out of water, literally. Yeah, that was
Yes.
good. That was great.
Loaded.
That
Okay.
was all great stuff. All right. So shall we wrap it up?
I'll wrap it up. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Go to homebodiesonly.com. Also, like, comment, subscribe, rate on Apple and Spotify podcasts if you enjoy this content. Also, go to our
And don't forget, you can go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/BTRP media or btrpmedia.com, where you will find all of these shows and you can follow for free. If you want to
for
get
free.
for free,
Yes.
they can follow us there. Or if they want to be an extra special member, they can pay a little bit of money per month, and they'll have extra features, extra content made just for them.
I almost made a very bad, dirty joke, but I won't.
All right, let's get out of here before something
Okay.
happens. All right.
Okay. Bye.
This is the BTRP Media Network.